At 4 years old, you knew that you wanted to play a guitar.
Yeah, I saw Eddie Van Halen and all the guys that were around that time at MTV, regardless of the genre, and I said, I know how to do that. I'm just 100% sure that that's not difficult. I could do it. So I got a guitar, and I just, with a group of friends, and everybody was like struggling to play chords, and I'm like, I'm not gonna play chords. This is where it's at. And I'm like, see that? So I was playing like very advanced guitar solos from ear without even knowing what the name of the notes were.
Wow.
Within the first week.
I believe that too.
You know? But I went back and learned the theory as years went on, and I improved. But from the get-go, I knew that I had something different, because I just could do things came naturally to me that bewildered other people. They're like, what is that? I don't know. I just know how to do it. You know what it is? When God gives you a gift, He gives you the concept behind it too, for you to understand. So, somebody may not understand how we upholster this furniture, but for somebody who's been given the gift of it, it's natural. Yeah, this is a seam and this is an angle, and if I cut it like this and that, but to us who don't do this, we're like, wow, that's amazing. How do they get this, round? Just with anything, building cars, music,
it's
art.
Natural, that's right.
It's natural, yeah.
Is it true that before you play, you don't feel the need to rehearse?
Yeah, I forget all my songs, all my lyrics, everything, until the day, like right before. I'm like, oh, that's what it says. And most of my playing is improvised anyway, so I stay within the scale, but what I do is off the cuff, so nothing's planned at all.
How do you define the type of musician you are?
See, there's something in music that a lot of the casual listeners don't know, is that when you hear somebody like Jimi Hendrix or Eddie Van Halen or even B.B. King, those are a broad spectrum of players.
Right.
But they have that it factor. That's called phrasing. So it has to do with the way they hold and bend and the timing. Everything in their arm and their fingers does that. And there's no way to teach that. It's natural. So there's people that learn a lot of scales and learn a lot of chords, and they have the best equipment in the world, and they're funded, and they go out there and they sound very average.
Right.
But you can get a guy with a $20 Sears guitar, and he just sounds like something from another planet because he has phrasing. So I have good phrasing, interesting, different type of phrasing, and that's what people hear. They're like, wow, it kind of reminds me of Hendrix, it reminds me of Eddie, but it sounds different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I get that all the time.
And are there musicians that you have respect for, you learn from, get ideas from?
Yeah, there are a whole lot from a big range,
Right.
but I filter it because obviously I am a Christ follower. I have returned to my Father. A Christ follower.
A Christ follower. You're a Christian.
Yeah.
And so, being a Christian, is it hard for you to perform certain songs and things like that?
No. My basic criteria is if it's satanic or bad or an affront to God, blasphemy,
Right.
No, don't do it. I refuse to do it.
Have you ever done anything like that before?
Oh, when I was like 18 and I didn't care. It was like, we used to want to offend everybody, 18, 19, 20 years old. When I was moving into the regional level, the first band I had, the first real one that was a big operation and they had studio time and everything, they had a local church. All the kids in their congregation listened to us. And it was all about like beating people up and blood and death. And so they literally had a bonfire where they burned our music in effigy, and that was pretty cool then. But now that I'm an adult, I'm like, I want to do that now.
Really?
Yeah.
And why not?
Because, first of all, you have to honor God. You don't want to blaspheme against the Lord. That's number one. Number two, you got to remember that everything you do, somebody else may be looking, and I can't control how somebody takes something. But if you're definitely doing something demonic or something ungodly, that's encouraging others to kind of, I don't know, pollute their minds in a way.
Right.
But I see the world from, there's good and evil, and just because something's ugly, it doesn't mean it's evil. Like if we're talking about war exists. If we're talking about death exists. But there's a way to talk about these things without corrupting or perverting others.
And so were you personally into the satanic thing?
The short answer is yes,
Right.
because at the time I didn't know it. I thought that, coming especially from the Cuban perspective.
So you're Cuban?
Yeah, Cuban, Puerto Rican.
I couldn't tell if you're Mexican, black, or Cuban,
Who
or all
knows?
of the above.
Who knows?